Bitcoin is in a critical position right now, and I want to break down for you the signs that we're seeing on this chart. There's a lot going on which probably doesn't meet your eye at first sight, and I need to break this down for you, including what's going on with the dollar index, because guys, look at how the dollar has been moving. It has seen a big breakdown. It's at an absolutely critical level. A lot of this chart is showing beautiful signs for Bitcoin. A lot of other things are showing terrible signs for Bitcoin, and these next hours are going to be critical in my opinion. So smash up the likes if you're excited for this video. If you already know, it's going to be great. If you appreciate the analysis where I was telling you guys that I'm expecting this thing to rocket ship up towards the 46k level, then do me a favor again, hit up those likes if you did find that analysis useful, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and let's get straight into this content. So here's the thing, is that Bitcoin ended up bottoming out at that 40k level, which I outlined would be its final area of support until it drops much further into the 30k range. Yes, sure, we wicked below it by a few $100s, but it doesn't matter. We're now in a sustained uptrend. Now it's dumping a lot right now. I'm going to ignore this dump just for the minute because this can be high frequency trading action. It can very easily reverse back up, and for the most part this dump doesn't actually matter. But if we look at this on the daily time frame, it's pretty clear what's happening here, right? You guys were aware of this big ascending wedge that I had drawn for Bitcoin, basically saying that I think Bitcoin is kind of coiling up and then getting ready to break out to the upside, right? And that's always been my analysis on the long term, is that I was expecting this area to, hopefully turn into support, and then we see Bitcoin rocketing up towards, $80,000, $100,000, and so on. We're getting a really nice reaction off this level right now. And really the main question that we have to ask ourselves, right, because you guys know the deal with this channel, I'm always trying to be as realistic as possible. I really want to ground ourselves so that we don't get excited, we just calm ourselves down and we analyze the market with a cooler head. And that means I'm looking at this chart right here, and the main question that I want to ask is, are we in a downtrend with a reversal right now? Or are we in a downtrend with a correction right now, indicating that the downtrend is going to continue? Or are we in a downtrend which has, effectively permanently reversed and we're going to be moving upwards? Permanently is a bad word to use here, but I mean, that we're seeing a real reversal here. So here's the thing, is in downtrends, we can have both, right? Like over here, we moved down, we started rallying up. This was from 53k, we fell all the way down to 43.6, and we rallied up to 48.6. This was a correction because then the market continued trading down. But this right here was not a correction. This was a reversal because then the market reestablished its uptrend, right? Here's another example. We're moving down, market starts rallying up. This is a correction and the market keeps trending down again. Right now, are we in a correction or are we in a bigger reversal pattern? That is the question that we need to be asking ourselves in this market at the moment, and that's what I'm looking to tackle in this video. Now, the first key thing that I want to focus your attention on is just this big range right here. It was quite important in the market going back towards the beginning of last year, 2021, and roughly in the middle months of 2021 as well. We saw a big amount of trading happening here, a big rejection, big support hits, a lot of consolidation here, and we basically managed to backtest this range. These are things that allow us to answer the question, are we in a reversal or a correction? You see, when the market is retracing down to levels which aren't actually very important, like, for example, let's take this on the Gemini chart, like this one, right? Let me remove these lines, like this level right here. The market ended up falling from 53k down to 42.8, let's say 43. In fact, I just want to move this up. I want to move this up to about 44. It managed to fall down to 44, and then it formed a rally to the upside. Now, this is really important. If we start rallies off weak support levels, it's much more likely to be a correction in the trend before it continues moving in its direction rather than a reversal. Here's the key difference, ladies and gents. If we look at the $44,000 level and we look at where this level has been historically important on this chart, we can see pretty clearly that we did have some interaction with this level, right? When we were initially trending up, we found support here. It triggered a big rally to the upside. Again, we found support here. We did almost nothing with this level on the way down, and then on the way up, again, we did almost nothing, but we did find some support as well. it's definitely a good level. It's not a super weak area of support in my opinion, but when we compare it to the $40,000 level, this is a much more important level in my opinion. Take a look at what happens here. It's the significance that I'm interested in. Bitcoin manages to rally up from below $20,000 in pretty much one straight fucking leg from, you know, like the 5th of October 2020 at a price level of about 10.5k. This bitch triples. It triples up to $42,000. I'm sorry, quadruples, my bad. A 300% profit, quadruples up to about $42,000. And look at where this uptrend ends, right? It ends at this very same blue line. Now that to me is historic significance, right? That is much more historically significant level than 44k than the 44k area was, because it stopped a major uptrend. It stopped a steaming bloody train, right? Here's the thing: is like, you know, with my bad analogies I love to do, one of my favorite ones is talking about momentum, right? And let's say we've got a massive train plowing down the track, and this right here is a big it's a plane blocking the track, and it's a really heavy plane. So the train just plows straight into it, but it's not got enough momentum compared to the super heavy plane, and so the market crashes in response. Now there's other examples where you know, again, the train is moving down to this level. Such a weird analogy, honestly. The train is moving down to this level. This is you know, also a heavy plane, this blue line, but it's not as heavy, and so the reaction isn't very extreme. A better example is right here. We very easily penetrate the level. The train just pushes the obstacle right out of the way because the train is so heavy compared to the object that's blocking its path. Super weird analogy, but the point is that this was and hit up the likes for it, guys. Do me that favor if you missed analogies like that. I haven't talked about the train and momentum analogies for a long time. This clearly to me makes it a very important level. We found a big rejection there. It triggered the first major correction of our market cycle, which was a minus 30% crash that took 19 days. It's by far the first and biggest correction we got. And by the way, just to put this into perspective, before this we had a 16-hour correction that took us down by 20%. We had a, you know, what effectively was like a 12-hour correction that took us down by 10%, and over here a 16% correction that took about 2.5 days. Absolutely none of them were as big as this area that rejected Bitcoin. We then found resistance here again, and when the market crashed all the way back down to this level, it bounced off 30k, and look at exactly where it found resistance. Bam! Look at where it found resistance again. Bam! Look at where it found resistance again. Bam. Very important level on this chart, and so that's why I believe we were able to trigger a reversal. That's the difference between a correction, which is temporary, and a reversal, which is much more permanent. It simply depends on where we form these levels off, right? Like, you need strong fundamentals, you need a strong place to be coming from in order for the price action to stick, and that is what we have right here. We're at the very same price level at 40k. On the Coinbase chart, on other charts, we actually bottomed out just a touch below, and so it's a very strong area on the chart. On my Bitstamp chart right here, I've also drawn this big ascending wedge, this ascending triangle, however you want to call it, again showing us that we are at a critical level. To me, that's a really good sign. Here is not what's a good sign though: volume. You know, when I want to talk about a big level being broken, I want to see some volume following through, and I'm not getting it right now. I'm just plain and simple not getting it. You know, if we look at the big move that happened here when Bitcoin bottomed out at about $29,000, there is a nice surge in volume. I mean, it's really not that much, but if I just make these lines a little bit thicker, you'll start to see this pretty clearly. You know, I mean, there is some spike happening right there. I'm sorry you can't see it. It's not actually very clear, but you can tell that there's something there. The volume moving average as well, this one's a little bit more obvious. You can see this orange line rising up, indicating that, you know, more people were trading in the market. We are getting that at the moment, but it's just not that low, in my opinion. It's just not that low. and so I'm sorry, it's not that high, and so I'm not super happy with it. And I suppose the other thing which really concerns me, like I said I'd cover earlier on in this video, is the dollar index. And guys, by the way, I'm going to move on to the smaller time frame analysis in just a minute, so stick with me if you are interested in that. The dollar is extremely important in my opinion, right? I mean, the trend is absolutely unequivocal. When the dollar is falling, Bitcoin tends to rise. I know it's down by minus 1.5% today, but obviously having risen from 40k, that is a 10% rise compared to, you know, where the dollar in the past 2 days has dropped by about 1%. So we generally see big movements in Bitcoin when the dollar moves by relatively small percentage numbers, or I should say comparatively small percentage numbers. But the key thing that you know, many of you have hopefully already picked up on now is that the dollar has only fallen into a big green box, which, you know, I mean, just historically has been a huge area of resistance for the dollar on this index just going into 2021, right? The dollar seeing big rejections off this green box right here consistently, you know, being a problem for the dollar. But then if we zoom out even more, this level was also a level of support and still resistance going back as far as 2015, so just before Donald Trump's election. And then even further back, this very same orange line showing us the same level has been very important for even longer before that, going all the way back into the 80s. This is the thing with the dollar, is we can do very long-term analysis with it, and we can get a lot of data, a very good idea of what might be happening at key levels. And we're at a key level right now. The dollar at a support level, I mean, historically, support levels is where you get bounces, right? I mean, you know, the dollar managed to, we're in a similar situation to this right here. The dollar managed to just push out of the box, came back down, and bam, it exploded up. Then again, it came back down to the box, exploded up, and again, exploded up, and again, exploded up. You know, if Bitcoin is moving at a 10-to-1 ratio compared to the dollar in terms of percentage moves, well, if the dollar goes up to, say, a high of, you know, 100, that's a 5.8% move. That's potentially a minus 58% drop for Bitcoin, right? So that would put us at like $20,000. So I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but again, I want to put this stuff on your radar because the trend is, again, you cannot ignore it. If you choose to ignore it, you're lying to yourself, and you can get the fuck off this channel, because I don't have patience for people that can't entertain the idea of their investments dropping just because they're snowflakes. I have no patience for you. You can leave the channel. Obviously, this channel is only for those who are much more realistic about what they're doing, who actually respect their money, and by extension are willing to be honest with themselves about what's happening with it. If you cannot do that and you want to jerk around with yourself and your other crypto buddies talking about how your shitcoins are going to $1 million, get the fuck off the channel, because this ain't the place for you. I'm about actually making money. So that's the thing. This is a support level for the dollar, and the dollar is in an uptrend right now. And if I compare Bitcoin's price action to the dollar, it is again very clear that while the dollar has been rising after this breakout point right here, which is where a lot of the rise happened, Bitcoin really started to fall, right? So this inverse and direct correlation flips around a little bit, but right now it's pretty clear that while the dollar is rising, Bitcoin is hurting, and while the dollar is falling, Bitcoin is gaining. Not only are we seeing it with Bitcoin, we're also seeing it with the S&P 500, although it's not as obvious. It is up nicely and just teasing those all-time highs, which are actually pretty damn close at the moment. So again, you know, it's quite a bullish setup, you know, for conventional markets, including Bitcoin, and at the same time, not so bullish for the dollar index on its own. However, it's at a support level, and to me that means that, yeah, I mean, the US dollar index could be looking at seeing another explosion relatively soon, and all of this is happening while, I mean, the dollar still has a little bit more downside to go, right? I mean, that support range that I showed you guys just a few minutes ago is pretty large, and if Bitcoin is going to be in for more of a rise if the dollar continues to fall, well, it's just putting it directly in the range that I told you guys could be resistance, which is the $46,000 area. There is a big cloud of resistance right here where we are at the moment, right? Take a look at this. Let's put it back on the Bitstamp chart and show you guys this Ichimoku cloud indicator, which you guys know that I love very much. And by the way, I'm actually about to record a follow-up video on the Ichimoku cloud. You guys know that I already made a video on the Ichimoku cloud, which you can find by typing this into the YouTube search bar right now, along with this if you want the EMA tutorial. I already made videos on this. These are actually, specifically this video is part of the 𝗧𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗦 Academy course, but I've made a few of those videos for free for all YouTube viewers as well. And the Ichimoku one, this was recorded back in 2018 when I was a child. And so I'm going to re-record that one. If you want me to, just do me a favor and drop it in the comments. Just tell me that you want another Ichimoku cloud video, and I'll do it like literally today or tomorrow if you guys really do want it. But I think this is a very important note, is that this has been quite an important level of resistance for Bitcoin within trending markets, and we are just hitting the cloud right now. We've seen already 2 separate rejections on the 4-hour time frame, and we haven't even entered the cloud yet. The cloud actually stretches all the way up to about 46.3, which, if you're paying attention, is exactly where my lines show the top of the resistance range at as well. Not only that, but this indicator also lining up with the 1-day EMA ribbon, which is also providing resistance to Bitcoin at a slightly lower level, but still obviously quite concerning, starting at about 45,000, ending at about 49,000. But of course, that means we've still got quite a bit of resistance that Bitcoin could encounter, kind of in that 46k range right there. So again, we're seeing the dollar potentially getting ready to find support, maybe dropping a little bit more at a time where it would enable Bitcoin to only rise back up into its resistance levels. And so the next thing that I want to do is just look at the fear and greed index. I haven't actually looked at it today and I forgot to pull it up, but here we go. It is at a reading of 21, which is pretty great. I like seeing that we're still in extreme fear. You know what else I like is the funding rate right now. Let me show you this real quick. Let me remove the rest of these indicators and show you the funding rate on the daily time frame. We can see something pretty clear right here, which is that even though the price is rising, people are still actually getting more and more bearish. That is what we need to see. My camera is freezing up again, for God's sakes. That is what we need to see. We need to see more of this kind of action where people are actually getting quite bearish even while the price is rising. This is a very, very good sign. This doesn't mean that something is going to happen overnight, but these are existing pieces of the puzzle that perhaps weren't there before. Now it is, and to me that is very, very important. So definitely look out for that. I think that is very, very cool. If we look at this on the 1-hour time frame, you can see that actually we briefly spiked and the funding rates became bearish, implying that the market will drop down, and now it's back in bullish territory again, continuing to imply that the market will rise up. I just want to make this clear to you though, that the funding rate has been bullish since the price of Bitcoin was like $5,000 higher, so this doesn't necessarily mean much. But of course, like I said, these are puzzle pieces. They're not the be-all end-all of analysis. No single indicator is a saving grace. But when you put them all together and you understand how to use them, that's where you can actually form quite a powerful, well-informed, rounded decision outlook on the market. And that is what I am here to show you how I'm trying to achieve. And of course, if you want to be able to look over my shoulder and have me explain absolutely every single move that I make inside of the market down to the dollar that I'm entering and exiting positions, click on the first link in the description down below. Just open up the description, click on that first link down below. That is going to take you into my completely free Telegram channel called 𝗧𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗚, where this is an app where I'm sharing with you guys even more analysis on Bitcoin around the clock. If you're not already on Telegram, but you are a trader, I don't know what you're doing. It's like having a car without a seatbelt. It's crazy. This is absolutely essential for every single trader. And of course, you get more of my content for free. And this is the only place that you get it, by the way. So it's with the first link in the description down below. And then to be able to watch me trading in real time, this is only for free analysis. And by the way, we've got like 20k members in here now, so it's pretty large. If you want my free, if you want my if you want access into the VIP group where you see even more information on exactly what I'm doing, where I'm doing it, why I'm doing it, you can get all the details on 𝗧𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗧 VIP by clicking on the @𝗧𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗧 button at the bottom of any post inside of 𝗧𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗧 and then on send message right here to ask me how to join 𝗧𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗧 VIP, and we'll give you all of that information right there as well. And I just want to very quickly remind you guys about Bybit, of course, the only exchange that I've been using for a long long time. I've been working with them for years and absolutely love them. My internet is crapping out right now, but this is by far my favorite exchange in crypto. And if you want to sign up to it, you're going to get up to $4,100 for free just by using my link in the description down below to sign up to Bybit. So if that sounds like a good deal to you, you want to get some free money, you want to trade on the exchange that I choose to use for almost every single one of my trades. The only time I don't use Bybit is when I physically can't. Then again, the link is in the description down below. You get up to 4K for free. So definitely take advantage of it while you can, because that is a limited time offer. All you have to do is sign up and make your first Bitcoin deposit, and then you get your cash for free. Moving back to the charts right here, like I said, the thing that's concerning me is just the fact that Bitcoin is approaching this resistance level. It lines up with a lot of different indicators, and that to me is what I think can be challenging. I'm going to be more convinced that this is indeed a reversal if and only if we start breaking resistance levels like right here and rising above them. That will mean that we are no longer setting a trend of lower highs. Our most recent high was either here at 48 or here at 52, depending on your definition of where the high is. Now, personally, I think this is the true high. And so if Bitcoin manages to rise up to, and importantly, beyond this level, then we are no longer setting lower highs in this market. But until and unless that happens, we're still in a pretty clear downtrend, and I think that's going to continue to show its ugly head in this market with its overarching pressure that it's applying. Again, we're not even seeing a strong amount of buying pressure following through right now. So these are just things that I want to keep on your radar. Now, if we're getting corrections like this right now, and, let's say Bitcoin goes from, about 44.4 all the way down to, say, 42.2, this would be a phenomenal correction, and then maybe we continue rallying up. If we start doing really healthy things like that, then actually I might change my mind, because I'll tell you guys that actually this uptrend is moving really in a very healthy way. And, it's generally the healthy uptrends that succeed, not the uptrends like what we had right here, where we're just moving up in a straight line every day and everyone chooses to stick their finger up their fucking nose and not question anything. Of course, on this channel, I was constantly doubting this rally all the way up until the very end, at which point the market fooled me. So I do concede I made a mistake there. But at every point before, I was very skeptical of this rally. And of course, that skepticism proving to be true right here again. So guys, that's what this channel is all about. I don't buy into the bullshit. I do not ever let other people influence my thoughts in these markets. By staying true to myself is the only way I've been able to find success in this market. And if you want to be able to, watch me on that journey and continue to gain my insights, then of course, make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you're hitting the bell, clicking the like button and all that good stuff. And my camera still doesn't work. I'm really annoyed by this. I'm very sorry, but you know what to do. If you have enjoyed this video, here are the steps for VIP if you want to jump in, and I'll see you all in the very next one. Bye bye.